You ever had someone call the cops on you for standing on your own property? That's what happened to me. I was out there, sweating under the Arizona sun, fixing up my barn, when a neighbor screamed, "Get off my land," and then dialed 911 like I was some kind of intruder. A few minutes later, half the neighborhood was watching me like I was a criminal, until I pulled out my badge and her face drained of every ounce of color. Act 1. The beginning of the conflict. My name is Robert Jameson, 42 years old, deputy sheriff, and outside the badge, just a man chasing his dream running a small farm outside Mesa, Arizona. After 20 years working in law enforcement, I thought buying some acreage and building a little red barn would give me peace, something real, something I could pass down. The first week I moved in, I was up on a ladder, hammering siding onto the barn. When she showed up, Linda Cartwright, HOA president, 50-something, sharp bob haircut, clipboard tucked under her arm like a weapon. She looked me up and down, then at the tractor, then at the barn. "Do you have permits for that?" she asked, not even bothering with a hello. I told her calmly, "This is agricultural land. Zoning's clean, paperwork's all filed." She pursed her lips, scribbled something on the clipboard, and walked off without another word. That should have been my first warning. The letters started showing up within days. Bright notices stuck to my mailbox. Violation unsightly equipment. Violation improper structure. She was relentless. At the next HOA meeting, she stood at the front like a school principal and said I was lowering property values. Some neighbors nodded. Others looked uncomfortable, but nobody spoke up. I explained again. This land isn't under HOA jurisdiction, but my words didn't matter. Linda had already decided I didn't belong. At first, I brushed it off. I'd spent a career staring down liars and bullies in courtrooms. One HOA president wasn't going to break me, or so I thought. Act 2. Escalation and the breaking point. Weeks passed, and the harassment escalated. More fines, more warnings. Neighbors who used to wave at me now kept their distance. At the HOA meetings, Linda spun the same story. I was a safety threat. She painted me like a ticking time bomb. And slowly, the room believed her. I started to feel the weight of it. Every look, every whisper. I'd worked my whole life to serve and protect communities, and here I was, alienated in the place I thought would be home. One night I sat at the kitchen table, papers spread out, her violation notices piled like a mountain, and I'll admit I doubted myself. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe my presence here really does bother people. Maybe I should just cut my losses, sell, move somewhere else. The thought of packing up, leaving behind my dream farm, leaving behind the soil I'd sunk my savings into it, gutted me. I felt like I was losing not just property, but dignity. For the first time in years, I thought about walking away. Then one morning, I noticed tire tracks cutting across my field, deep grooves in the soil where someone had driven through just to tear it up. Sabotage. And that was it. The switch flipped. Doubt burned into anger. That same week, Linda cornered me by the barn. A crowd of neighbors lingered nearby, watching like it was theater. She raised her voice so everyone could hear. "If you don't tear down this barn and remove this junk, I'll call the police." Today, I looked her dead in the eye and said, "You don't want to do that." But she pulled out her phone anyway, right there, in front of everyone. She dialed 911. Her voice went sharp, panicked, almost rehearsed. "There's a black man on this property. He's trespassing. He's threatening me." I stood frozen. The words hit me like a gut punch. She wasn't just lying, she was weaponizing fear. And in that moment, I felt something I'd seen too many times before. The dangerous weight of a false accusation. The crowd watched me, some whispering, some recording on their phones. My hands clenched. My heart pounded. I thought, is this how it ends? On my own land, in front of my neighbors. Act 3. The showdown and justice. The sirens came fast. Blue and red lights lit up the road, washing across the fields. 2 cruisers pulled into the drive. Linda waved them down frantically, pointing at me. "That's him. Arrest him!" He threatened me. I stood still, calm, hands resting on my belt. My pulse raced, but my face stayed steady. Deputy Carla stepped out of the first car. Deputy Ortega from the second. Both colleagues, Both people I'd shared briefing rooms with worked side by side on calls. They approached cautiously, scanning the scene. Linda rushed forward. "He doesn't belong here. He's dangerous." Carla raised a hand. "Ma'am, let us handle this." Then I reached slowly into my back pocket, pulled out my leather badge wallet, flipped it open so the silver star caught the sunlight. The silence that fell was heavy. Neighbors craned their necks. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Deputy Ortega's voice cut like a blade. "This is his property, and he's one of us." Carla turned to Linda. "Ma'am, filing a false police report is a serious crime. You lied about a trespass. You lied about a threat. And you endangered everyone here." Linda's jaw dropped. Her face flushed crimson. She stammered, I was just trying to protect the neighborhood." But the crowd wasn't buying it anymore. Whispers turned to condemnation. Someone muttered, "She's finished." Another said, "We trusted her." I finally spoke, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You didn't call because of the law. You called because you didn't want me here. But I'm not going anywhere." Linda's power evaporated. The clipboard that once looked like a weapon now just dangled uselessly at her side. She turned, looking for allies, but found none. Even her most loyal board members avoided her eyes. The deputies didn't cuff her that night, but the damage was done. Her reputation shattered. The HOA stripped her of leadership within the week. And me, I went back to hammering nails into that barn. This time, with neighbors waving from the street, not with suspicion, but respect. Shh. Final line. Real power isn't in how loud you can shout. It's in standing firm when the truth is on your side.